in the last year or so, there hasn't been a show to come out that I was really curious to see how people would respond to it. The Game of Thrones spinoff series, or prequel series, if you will, House of the Dragon. Because while some people, like me, know that the final couple seasons of Game of Thrones were brilliant, there was a lot of people, to be fair, that were very, to be mild about it, underwhelmed by the last couple seasons and talked a lot of trash and whatever. And honestly, you know, when they first announced they're doing House of the Dragon, a lot of people proclaimed, no chance. I'm not giving that anything. I already got burned on the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones. Not going to even try it, blah, blah, blah. So I was really curious to see, would we like it? Will it be bad? Will it be good? But some people still won't give it a chance. Like, what's going to happen? And then House of the Dragon debuted. And most of us, I think it's fair to say, were blown away by the series, and it just kept rolling all the way through its incredible finale. I'm not going to say that the show is as good as Game of Thrones overall, but I think the first season of House of the Dragon is better than the first season of Game of Thrones. Just a season to season comparison. But it was just phenomenal. Now, we also got our hearts broken finding out we'd have to wait longer than a traditional television show for the next season to come, but it is upon us, as a new report out of Variety is confirming that it's coming in June. This comes to us from Variety, who writes, House of the Dragon Season 2 will debut on HBO in June. Warner Brothers Discovery streaming and gaming chief J.B. Peretti revealed the launch let's try this again. Revealed the launch month for the second season of the Game of Thrones spinoff during an interview at Morgan Stanley Technology, Media and Telecom Conference on Monday. Now, they did not give a specific day, but they told us it is coming in June. And I'll tell you what, right now is a good time to be a TV fan, because we've got Shogun, which is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. We're only 2 episodes in, so maybe it goes south. And the new episode drops today, right? For Shogun? I think the new episode drops today. Anyway, super stoked about that.
I'm not sure.
And Game of Thrones coming now in just a couple of months. And between Game of Thrones, The Last of Us, which they're filming right now. I can't wait for that show to return. And of course, Shogun, it's a really good time. But Chris, I was completely blown away by that first season of House of the Dragon. It delivered on all the potential that I think people thought it would have, being a Game of Thrones follow-up.
Sure.
And it just, without, some of the weaknesses that, then again, they're only in the first season. We'll see if weaknesses manifest. But what did you think about the first season in general? And, we've seen a lot of things start strong that then start to struggle and get weaker. I mean, they lost their showrunner, their main showrunner, one of their co-showrunners going into this season, but they still have a lot of people who worked on season 1 for season 2. So how did you feel about the first season? How are you feeling going into a second season?
I really enjoyed the first season. I mean, we've talked a lot on the show about how it's basically Succession with dragons. It's a really wonderful
and
look.
more killing.
And more killing.
Yeah.
It's a great look at familial drama, of conquest. When Rob and I were doing the after shows, we were always talking about how one of the things the original Game of Thrones did a lot was what I call sexposition, right? They had to show you something tantalizing on screen so you didn't get bored with the narrative of what was happening. And I feel like this show we still have that. We still have some of that in there. It's still HBO, right? Or Max, or whatever you want to call it. But I think this show also understands that its viewers are intelligent and will sit around and listen to a war council thing without seeing tits.
They figured that out, I'd say, after like 2 seasons.
Yeah, it took a while.
They stopped.
Yeah. We still would have like a brothel scene to get through some exposition, right? But there was a lot of just agency for all of these characters, too. We saw people taking possession of their own power, possession of their own bodies in some people's cases. It was a really powerful series, I felt.
Lots of feet.
Lots of feet. Yeah.
Nice exposition on feet.
There was a lot of that. If she only could get on Feet Finder, oh my gosh.
I'll tell you
Alex
what,
could be doing
we've
great.
seen a lot of questionable stuff on TV. I don't know that there's much I've seen on TV that has disturbed me as much as that scene in season 1 with the feet. Like, that was
John, I need to show you my DMs.
Oh, it was very disturbing to me.
I saw that scene and went, oh, I feel seen. I feel so seen with what this woman's going through. Y'all nasty. I am a little concerned going into the second season, just because I feel like we could have some sort of tonal shift with a new showrunner coming over.
Right.
And that's to be expected. Somebody else is going to put their own pizzazz on this. I'm just hoping we don't deviate too much from what we have, from what's worked here, because what I've loved, this is a great example of this, those long tension building scenes. I really love these single locations. Let's build all the tension we possibly can for one scene that is going to erupt into some violence. And I think this show does that so beautifully and wonderfully. Everything just looks so epic. It's styled so well. The acting is beautiful. The writing is phenomenal. I really hope that we have a sophomore season that is spectacular, not a slump.
You know, one of the things I recognize too that they really made sure they came out of the gate strong with, because one of the criticisms, as beloved as the first few seasons of Game of Thrones were, one of the first criticisms, and South Park Ray even did an episode about it. It's like, you know, there are going to be dragons at some point, right?
Yeah.
And they go to George R.R. Martin's like, when are we going to get the dragons? It's been a couple of years. And that's, of course, where we got one of the greatest songs on TV. Wiener, flaccid wiener. But anyway, they came right out of the gate with dragons. I mean, we got a lot of dragons in this and the promise for more moving forward. I cannot wait for this show to return. And, of course, we got our new Supergirl came out of this show.
Yes.
Season 1. So it'll be...
What was great about the show? It's the last TV series I remember that we actually took as an event. It was
where
like an
we got
event.
together every week.
Early too. Had some barbecue sometimes. We set up for this show, so I can't wait for this premiere.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm so excited. And I thought it was going to be later in the year than this. And to be honest, with the way everything gets bumped, I even kind of thought I might get bumped to 2025, but I'm so glad it's coming out in just a couple of months. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Factor. You know, guys, some days it's great to prepare your own meal, but some days it's great to have wonderful, delicious meals already ready to go. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals makes eating better every day easy. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You'll have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and have a feel-good week of meals ready to go. They've got snacks, smoothies, and more. Discover a wide variety of easy options for the entire day, like breakfast, midday bites, and more. And guys, you get to save. We've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So guys, head to factormeals.com/Campea50 and use the code Campea50 to get 50% off. That's code Campea50 at factormeals.com/Campea50 to get 50% off. How do you guys feel about it? Are you looking forward to season 2? Maybe you didn't like the first season. That's totally fair. I loved it. Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.